In every era, men have struggled with the same silent war, the battle between desire and direction, between fleeting pleasure and lasting power. The modern man, surrounded by endless distractions, has forgotten what it means to be truly focused, truly sharp, truly dangerous in his purpose. Yet thousands of years ago, one archer stood as the symbol of what the masculine mind could become when it was entirely anchored, when his gaze did not scatter, when his spirit was tied to his aim, like the string to his bow. Arjuna, the warrior prince, did not just shoot arrows, he embodied precision. And when his guru, Dronacharya, tested him by asking his students to aim at the revolving fish's eye while looking at its reflection in the water, every man saw the branches, the sky, the fish, the clouds, but Arjuna said, "I see only the eye." That was focus. That was semen retention in spiritual form, the containment of all energy, all senses, all mind, into one sharp, burning point. Because semen retention is not merely the act of withholding, it is the act of forging. It's not denial, it's direction. Every drop of retained energy is a drop of awareness that hardens your will, that pulls your mind away from chaos and channels it into creation. Just as Arjuna's arrow pierced not only the fish's eye, but the illusion of distraction itself. Semen retention allows a man to pierce through the haze of the modern world, through lust, through overstimulation, through mediocrity, and find that one target that defines his destiny. This is not just philosophy, it is neurochemistry. It is biology aligned with purpose. The same energy that gives life can also give power. The seed you hold is not just a physical substance, it is creative electricity, the raw charge of masculine potential. When wasted aimlessly, it drains you. When contained, it crystallizes your consciousness. When Arjuna said he saw only the eye, he was not speaking only of focus, but of purity, the purification of attention. That is semen retention at its core. The purification of attention, the training of the masculine essence to aim, to endure, to strike. The man who retains becomes like a drawn bow, quiet, tense, ready, his mind honed, his words precise, his presence sharp enough to cut through noise. But modern society has made the man forget his aim. It tells him to release without reason, to chase without direction, to feel without mastery. It celebrates indulgence, not intention. The constant barrage of dopamine from screens, from lust, from validation, scatters the masculine arrow. The eye no longer sees the target. It sees only temptations floating in the water. The man becomes the opposite of Arjuna, easily distracted, emotionally scattered, physically weakened, mentally clouded. His energy is no longer his. It is consumed by the illusions of pleasure. Yet deep inside, every man lies the same capacity as Arjuna, to reclaim that arrow, to steady the hand, to silence the chaos. Retention is the modern version of Arjuna's discipline. When a man decides to hold his seed, he is training the same inner muscle of concentration that allowed Arjuna to see only the eye. The modern man who practices retention is reprogramming his nervous system to focus again, to resist short-term pleasure for long-term greatness. Every urge he masters is another layer of armor forged around his will. Every day he holds back is another day he sharpens his perception. Slowly, his eyes begin to change, not physically, but energetically. He begins to see life like an archer. Every moment has a trajectory, every thought a consequence, every action a target. He becomes precise in speech, intentional in movement, unshakable in decision. His aura becomes different. Women feel it, men sense it, the world responds to it, because retention gives him a gravitational pull, the same silent magnetism that legends carry. The same force that made Arjuna's bow tremble with potential energy before release now hums in his own veins. Contained, concentrated, waiting to strike when the moment calls. That is masculine precision, the alignment of instinct and intellect, of lust and logic, of desire and discipline. When Arjuna drew his bow, he did not rush. His body was still, his breath controlled, his mind locked. The fish above turned in circles, the reflection below rippled, and yet his arrow never wavered. This stillness in motion, this ability to act with clarity amidst chaos is what semen retention builds within a man. The constant leakage of energy scatters the neurons, floods the body with exhaustion, and clouds the clarity needed for decisive thought. But retention reverses this. It calms the waves, it forges inner silence. It builds a man's capacity to stand still while the world spins around him. In that silence, creativity blossoms, intuition heightens, purpose becomes a frequency he can hear. Modern psychology calls it flow state. Ancient wisdom called it tapas, the inner heat of discipline that burns away impurities and reveals the diamond within. The man who retains begins to notice his reactions slowing down, not out of dullness, but control. He no longer reacts, he responds. He no longer chases, he attracts. His words become fewer but more potent. His gaze deepens. His steps are measured. Like Arjuna, he learns to see only what matters. And in a world where everyone is drowning in distraction, the man who focuses becomes divine. Because focus itself is a spiritual act. the act of choosing what to see and what to ignore. Semen retention trains this act daily. It teaches you to observe your desire and not be enslaved by it, to aim, not scatter, to choose depth over breadth. It transforms you from being a leaf blown by the wind into the arrow cutting through it. Every moment of retention is a moment of refinement, and slowly, the man who once struggled to stay disciplined becomes the man others look to for direction, the leader, the creator, the protector, the builder. He becomes the embodiment of masculine presence, silent, steady, unyielding. This is why retention has always been linked to spiritual mastery. From yogis to warriors, from sages to kings, those who understood the relationship between life force and focus guarded it as sacred. Because your seed is not just your biology, it's your blueprint. It carries not only your genetics, but your generative power, the capacity to build, to create, to command. When you release it carelessly, you are releasing your command over yourself. You become reactive, foggy, inconsistent. But when you retain, you gather your kingdom back under your control. Your thoughts obey you, your emotions serve you, your instincts align with your intellect. That is the throne of the masculine spirit, not dominance over others, but dominion over oneself. Arjuna didn't win because he fought others. He won because he conquered his inner noise. He became one with his weapon, one with his purpose. The arrow was an extension of his will, just as your focus is an extension of your inner energy. The moment you scatter your energy into indulgence, your arrow bends. The moment you hold it and direct it, your arrow flies straight. In the battlefield of modern life, the targets are not physical, they are financial goals, creative visions, spiritual clarity, relationships, self-mastery. To hit them requires the same focus Arjuna had to see only the eye amidst the storm. Retention is the daily practice that restores this focus. It turns a distracted boy into a man with a mission. It turns an anxious man into a calm strategist. It turns a broken man into a builder. The world rewards such men not because they are lucky, but because they are laser. Precision attracts prosperity. Energy attracts opportunity. And nothing sharpens that energy like semen retention. To live as a retained man is to live like a drawn bow, always ready, always aware. It is not suppression, it is supremacy over the self. The man who retains does not walk around as a monk detached from life. He moves as a king within it. His control over his energy does not make him weak, it makes him invincible. Because he no longer fears his desire, he channels it. He turns lust into leadership, tension into focus, desire into destiny. The women around him feel it, not as arrogance but as presence. They sense that his eyes are not begging for attention. They are choosing where to aim. He does not waste words because his energy speaks louder. He no longer needs to prove. He simply moves with purpose. This is masculine precision, the alignment of every inner current toward a singular goal. Like Arjuna's arrow that knew no hesitation, the retained man's life follows a straight trajectory from vision to execution. When he fails, he recalibrates without self-pity. When he wins, he remains grounded, because his strength does not come from external validation, it comes from internal voltage. The fire within him burns quietly but intensely. Every day he wakes up sharper, calmer, stronger. His eyes see the world differently. He sees patterns, connections, timing. He becomes the strategist of his own destiny. His retention does not make him rigid. It makes him fluidly powerful, like a river under control. And when the time comes to release in creation, in action, in love, it is no longer wasted. It is invested. Every act becomes meaningful, deliberate, sacred. That is the essence of Arjuna's lesson, not to never shoot, but to shoot with precision. To hold until the moment is right, and then to release with mastery. So when you practice semen retention, remember you are not merely fighting urges. You are forging focus. You are training the same principle that guided the greatest archer in history. Every moment you hold your energy. Imagine yourself as Arjuna before the fish's eye. The world will tempt you to look at the branches, the ripples, the sky, at pleasure, distraction, fantasy. But your goal is the eye, your purpose, your mission, your legacy. Block out everything else. Let the energy rise within you, not as frustration, but as fuel. Let your body become the bow, your mind the string, and your will the arrow. The more you train this, the more silent power you accumulate. You'll notice your speech cutting through noise, your decisions becoming clear, your energy radiating confidence. You'll walk differently, think differently, and attract differently. Because the universe itself respects precision. Just as a loose arrow cannot hit its mark, a distracted man cannot fulfill his destiny. But the man who retains, who focuses, who aims, he becomes unstoppable. His life becomes a series of deliberate strikes toward greatness. And when he finally releases, whether through creation, performance, or passion, it is not random, it is divine. He hits his target not because he was lucky, but because he became one with his focus. Like Arjuna under the gaze of his guru, he no longer sees the world in fragments, he sees only the goal. His arrow of attention flies true, and the world bows to his precision. This is the way of the focused arrow. This is the power of semen retention. the art of aiming your life with divine accuracy. If this video charged your internal battery, please show some love. Give this a quick like and subscribe to make sure you never miss an energy upgrade. I love seeing our global community grow, so please drop your location in the comments. Sit fuels the channel. If you've got questions that need an answer or want to connect with like-minded people, find us on Telegram link below. Let's spread this power. Take a moment to share this with your crew. Have a truly powerful day.